there was the kitchen, and then there was the shell, sort of the big platform, and then there were 4 units where we lived. And two of them are still, I guess, in places surviving. A bugle, that's how we told time. And that would announce, getting up, flags, breakfast, time for crafts, time for water, and that sort of thing. Well, June Hersey was a year older. She played the bugle. She claimed that a cold bugle didn't play well. You had to have it warm. So when she would get up, then she would take the bugle, and while she was pulling on her sweatshirt, she'd stick the bugle down my bed or Helen's bed, and you can't know what it's like on a nice cold morning to have a cold bugle thrust down you. But she claimed that it was necessary to warm it, and we were to warm it, and it was an honor. So, because my neighbors used to say to me, "You don't get upset at things," because we had to know what to do here at camp. So it gave us a certain attitude, I think, of being responsible. You learn to be reliant, and you learn that it's up to you, and you learn the limit. It opened the door that would never have opened otherwise.
All from being at 2 Sentinels.
Yeah.
Camp is a very rustic place, and I think it instills in the girls an appreciation of what they have in life when they're not at camp. They have a lot more amenities, a lot more niceties, but what you don't have are the trees and the stars and the empowerment of knowing that you went out on that trail with 10, 12, 15 other people, and you made it. I feel honored to be able to instill this feeling of love of the outdoors in young women. And I don't think they get a real opportunity to do this any other place than at camp. And the most amazing thing to me is to see 14, 13-year-olds and 3 adults take off on the trails and come back 4 days later, and instead of having 14 individual kids, you have a unit. And you have a unit with staff that is also part of that unit. And the girls come back year after year after year to see that we're there year after year after year, and that's what they're looking for. It's home away from home.
One of the things that's really neat about backpacking is we take all of these girls who, they're pretty sophisticated, they're all very computer savvy now, they all have cell phones, they're all very connected in these things, and you get out on the trail and we get to a creek and everybody goes piling in the creek, and let's build a dam, and they're picking up rocks and throwing them around and floating their bandanas down the creek and having a ball. And I said, this is still in all of us. It just is waiting to be discovered and to be refreshed. This ability to just be and have fun, and the girls pick it up very quickly.
I went to a pool for lifeguard training. Turned out everybody else in the pool was from this camp called 2 Sentinels that I'd never heard of. And I have never laughed so much in my life. I remember thinking, well, this will never work, because I had daughters who were 5 and 7. They weren't old enough to be campers. And they said, no problem, we have a tag unit. Those are underage kids of staff, and they'll be taken care of. So I thought about it, and I said, well, let me get this straight. You're telling me I get to go up to the high Sierras for 10 days and hike and swim and have my meals prepared by someone else, and my kids are going to be looked after 24/7 by someone else? And they said, yeah, that's right. And I said, where do I sign? So the rest is history. That was about 20 years ago.
After spending my first week at 2 Sentinels, the last day of camp, at night there's a huge campfire, and then we do wishboat ceremony. And I had been told how amazing wishboat was, and I had been told how overwhelmed with feelings people get, and I had been told all these things, and quite frankly, I couldn't understand how, after spending 10 days with people that I really didn't know, that I was going to be so brokenhearted at leaving. And from the middle of the lake comes this flute playing somewhere over the rainbow, and I fell apart. I totally and unequivocally fell apart. I was sobbing. I kept thinking, I'll never, ever, ever be able to place this moment again. It was just too much for me. I was overwhelmed, and I understood why I come back to Two Sentinels every year.
You know, this camp is everything everybody says and more, and I can't thank everybody enough at camp, how accepting they've been, and helpful, and nurturing, and Two Sentinels will be my home.
Because this was the place where I was alive.
Mm-hmm.